Oops, I turned this on. Welcome to today's live stream. I am super excited to be here. As always, I'm always excited when I get a chance to share something that's happening in the social media space or in something that's going to ultimately help you in your business. So I want to welcome you. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kim Garst. I am an online business strategist. I love helping shorten the learning curve for those that are trying to grow a business in the online space. And I'm also the creator of Groups That Grow Your Business. And that's something I'm super passionate about right now, which is part of what I'm sharing with you today. Because just a few days ago, if you didn't know it, Facebook made some changes to the privacy settings on the groups themselves. Now, in my opinion, they made it simpler, but I've gotten a lot of feedback that people are super confused. They're like, what's happening with my closed group? So inside of my Facebook group that supports the Groups That Grow Your Business course, there was a lot of talk. There's a lot of chitter chatter, like what's going on with this? Do I not, if I have a closed group, what happens to my closed group? So summing it all up real quick, Facebook decided that they were going to bring the three group types, the privacy settings, down to two. So it has been in the past where you could have a public group, you could have a private group, or you could have what's called a closed group. That was kind of in the middle, so to speak. And so that's kind of what's happened. Facebook has decided they're going to go to two privacy settings, a public setting and a private setting. But don't panic, because there is a way around this. So if you're just coming in, would you give me a shout out? Where in the world are you? I always love to get a sense for where everybody is and time zones, etc. It's always fascinating to me that, somebody on the other side of the world, when it's probably in the middle of the night and they're tuning in. So would love to know where everybody is coming in from. I will also let you guys know that today I'm doing something slightly different. And if there is a delay on me responding or not seeing you, bear with me, because I am actually using a new tool here, and I have somebody helping me broadcast today's stream. So if you're, if I'm not seeing your comments, which I'm a little not sure if I can just yet, we're going to be working on this. Bear with me as we figure out all these things, because it's, like I say, this is a brand new environment for me, and I'm just going to have to figure it out as we go. So, all right, excellent. I see Carol from Northeastern Pennsylvania. Hey, Carol, so glad to see you. And we've got Denise from Illinois. Yay! Awesome. Well, and then we got Sherry from upstate New York. Good. And Andre from Tampa. Andre, I'm here in Tampa as well. So, and it is a dreary day here. We've been getting a ton of rain. Jill, oh my gosh, Jill, back at you, girl. Jill says one of my favorite people. Yeah, ditto. I am a huge fan of yours as well, sweetness. Alberta, Canada. Well, awesome. Like, I'm so super excited that you guys are here. Like I say, I am trying this new thing. So we got Jim from Brushton, New York. All right. So I've explained the old settings, and I've explained that Facebook is, shifting the dynamic and making it simpler. You can either have a public group or you can have a private group. But don't panic, because you can still technically have a closed group. So why should you care about your group settings? Let's talk about that real quick. Group settings are important because of not only who can see what inside of your group. So let's talk about that real quick. So let's say you have a public group, then everybody, it's public. Anybody can see it. Anybody can see your admins. They can see who's in your group. They can see the content in your group. If it's private, they can't see any of that. So in other words, they can't see who's in the group. They can't see the admins. They can't see comments inside of the group. And there are instances where that's important. Like, you may not want people having visibility into your peeps, right? So there used to be this, and I don't know if it's as common as it used to be. Perhaps it is, but it used to be really bad, where people would go into groups that had big big groups of folks, and they would basically harvest those people for their groups. So let's say, for example, I might have a group of 10,000 people, and there might be a competitor that wanted to come in, and they would be able to see all my members, and they would be able to add them to their own groups. That's kind of gotten kind of a sleazy feel to it these days, where it's not uber cool to add people to your group without asking first. But back in the day, when everybody was just adding people here, there, and yonder, it was totally like taught. Like people would tell people how to, they tell you to do that. Just go harvest other people's people, essentially. That sounds terrible. It's like you're harvesting body parts. I don't mean it like that. I just mean that they would basically come and, steal. I don't know. Can you steal a person? But you know what I mean. They would basically just come in and add your folks to their groups. And so that's important. And there may be sensitive conversations that you have inside of your groups that you don't want everybody and their brother knowing about, right? So it's important that it may be important, not always, it may be important that your group has some privacy settings on it. So why does Facebook care about this? So I don't know if you guys know this, but just a few days, I guess it's probably been a few weeks ago, Facebook settled a law. I guess it was a lawsuit. They settled. I don't know exactly how it was, but they settled up with the FTC to the tune of $5 billion. $5 billion. So they are in a PR crunch. I think that's what I would call it, where this whole Cambridge Analytica thing blew up on them. Privacy has become a huge thing for them. And they have said very clearly that they're going to be focusing on groups going forward. In fact, privacy is a big concern for them right now, and they're trying to filter this new element of their platform into everything that they're doing. So we're going to see a lot of shifts, in my opinion, on Facebook, and this is one of them. So Facebook is trying to simplify things with Facebook groups, but they are also still giving us some control over the privacy settings. So instead of just taking those away from us, thankfully, they are still allowing us to decide what our groups is going to look like. So Jeff, if you would pop that one image up. So if your group is currently secret, it's probably in the near future, if it hasn't already been changed, it's going to be private and hidden in search. So people will not be able to find your group. Instead of it being secret, it's just going to be private. If your group is closed, it will be converted to a private but still visible in search. So technically this little piece right here, that what used to be closed, will now be a private but still visible. If you choose to make it visible, you'll have that opportunity to make it visible inside of your group settings. And then if you have a public, it's just the same as it's always been. It's going to be public and it's going to be visible in search. So that's basically the way that the whole structure is going to happen. I'm going to share another image with you in just a moment. But basically, I just want to say that there's no need to panic around this whole thing. If you've in the past had a closed group, which is technically the only one that has really impacted by this decision, where Facebook is now saying they're doing away with secret, turning them into private groups. And then of course the public is going to stay the same as it always has been. Now with the public group, people can jump in at will, people can invite into the group. It's very open-ended, essentially. People can see into it, they can see admins, they can see members. That's going to stay the same. The difference between the private, there's going to be two settings on private, which is why I'm saying you can now still technically have a closed group. So Jeff, let's show that other that other image real quick. So as you can see, there's the public, and that's, like I say, anyone can see who's in the group and what they post, and it can be visible to anyone. The group itself is visible to anyone that's searching for it. It'll also be found in the search, that kind of thing. There's two versions of the private group. There is on the right-hand side, there's private, which is hidden, meaning that's technically exactly the same as what a secret group is today, or if your group has already been shifted to this new private option. If it has, you might want to make sure you go in and check your settings just to make sure that your secret group is still secret. It's absolutely still hidden. And then there's this middle version, which is, again, it's a private group, but it is still visible. So only members can see who's in the group and what they post. So that stays the same. So in other words, people on the outside can't see, the content inside the group, which is very, very important for a lot of people. And, but they also want to be found on the old Facebook engine. So the group itself can still be searched for and they can still be found. So this is how Facebook is shifted this dynamic to where basically there's two choices. There's now the public and the private, but the private has two very distinct features. One's a visible click. You just click it and say, yes, I want my group to be visible, or you just make sure that it's hidden if you don't want your group to be searched for and seen in any capacity. And there are cases where that is definitely the case, where you do not want others to see you. Now, I've seen a few conversations over the past couple of days where people were talking about, that private group that's, so totally secret, then how in the world is Facebook going to monitor these hate groups or, groups where there's inappropriate things happening? Facebook has got an answer to that. And I'm not sure how I feel about it, because I think it could go both ways. It's kind of like, my husband has always said, the power belongs to those who count the votes, not the people who vote, as alluding to the fact that who makes the decisions, right? Or, and I think that that's a little bit of a concern from the standpoint of who's going to decide whether, content is inappropriate or not. Now, obviously, some things are just a given, like if there's hate stuff going on and, that kind of thing. But when it comes to opinions and you have groups that are set up around things that someone else might disagree with, then what? So I'm not sure, like I say, what I think about that. But essentially what Facebook is doing is they're going to be using a lot of AI to track not just Facebook groups, but the platform as a whole to find inappropriate content. So you won't be able to hide behind your private group, is what I'm trying to say. If you do have content that is inappropriate, or I don't think any of you guys do. So that's probably, forget I even said that. I really don't feel like there's anybody that's listening today that has a group that's inappropriate. But that is a factor for some of us. We do worry about those types of things because we see them on the news and, we hear these horrendous stories. So Facebook is dealing with that. They do have they have a plan, if you will, around what they're going to do going forward. Much of it goes back to this whole privacy issue and how they're going to showcase to the FTC and others, the government, that they are on top of this privacy issue. So it's going to be really interesting. So if you guys don't have a group, or if you have a group and you feel like it's just got stagnant and you would like to leverage the power of groups, let me talk to you real quick about the opportunity that groups present to you right now. Groups are, in my opinion, a great place to build community. We all talk about community and we all want community, and yet it's a struggle in the social space today. There's just so much noise and so many people vying for the same eyeballs that it can be a hard transition today to actually build community in this wide open space that we call social media, right? So with groups allow you to build a great connected community, attract the right people, basically build a group of people that are your ideal prospects or your ideal customers. You can become a mini influencer inside of that community and ultimately sell into that community so much easier than probably what you're trying to do in the social space right now, which is probably all over the place. You get up every morning and you start worrying about what you're going to post on social media. If that's you, raise your hand. I have been there, done that so many times over the years. For years, I got up at 5 a.m. in the morning to answer tweets. Yes. And spent, at least an hour to an hour and a half every morning answering tweets. So I have been there, done that, and I'm just here to tell you that Facebook groups are an amazing opportunity. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to make sure that everybody understood the privacy settings, what they mean to you, and how you can leverage them still without losing any of the opportunity to maintain the privacy of your group and the members themselves inside of the group. So you can still have a closed group essentially. And that's what I think is very important to a lot of people. But if you are interested in learning how to grow a business, grow a Facebook group that can be chock full of your ideal client, your ideal customer, then check out my brand new course. It's at kimgarst.com/FB groups. And I feel like that, from the standpoint of the opportunity being now with groups are not new. I mean, they're not. But what's new is the fact that Mark Zuckerberg said at the recent F8 conference that Facebook is going to focus on groups going forward. There's going to be more features rolling out for groups. They're going to give more reach to groups that have engaged members. So that means that those members are going to see that content in their news feeds more frequently than, say, our fan page content, which nobody's seeing that hardly. I mean, the average fan page is getting about a 1% return on their content, because that means only about 1% of their fan base is seeing their content on their page. And that's just crazy. I mean, even my page is about 4 times that, but about 5 times really. But still, that's crazy to know that you spent all this time building a community, if you will, on social media, and yet you can't get in front of it without spending money. So that's why I'm so excited about the fact that, Facebook is saying, yes, we're going to invest in groups. We're really going to pour into them. We're going to, give more resources, more features. We're going to give more reach. Now, will it shift? Sure, it's going to. But you guys can build amazing communities inside of the groups now while the algorithm is in your favor. And I say, go do it, because now is the time. Facebook is absolutely, picking the pace up on groups. Why not us? Why do we not do it while the opportunity is so rich? So definitely check it out. I just wanted to see if there's any questions around this whole Facebook group settings, privacy setting thing, or Facebook groups across the board. Happy to entertain any questions that you guys might have. So Jill says, yes, it's basically the same, just named differently. So essentially there's just 2 settings now. There's going to be the public and the private, but the private has the 2 buttons. You can make it visible so that it's available in search, so that your group can be found, or you can just keep it hidden and technically secret. So it's just 2 versions of the private, essentially. So if your group is closed, it's still going to be closed. It can still be closed, is my point. And you can still be found in the search, which is, in my opinion, also important for attracting new people to you, because people do search for groups. All right. Any additional questions? All right. Well, I am so thankful that you guys spent a little bit of your time with me today. I'm always feel really blessed to share knowledge with you, and more blessed, though, that you are here and tune in to let me share great things with you. So thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.